Hello, I'm Jonathan Stoiano, consultant plastic surgeon and director of the Stoiano Clinic here in Edgbaston, and I'm going to talk about what is a dog ear. Now, a dog ear, it's a terrible name, but it's the name that we give to a little bump of skin at the end of a scar, and it happens any time that you cut skin out. And a lot of surgery that we do as plastic surgeons involves cutting pieces of skin out, and we often cut things out as a circle. And if you cut out a circle, and it's the same if you cut out a circle of cloth and try to stitch that circle together, you're going to get big bumps on either side, and these are dog ears, and it's just a pleat of skin that creates a bump at the end of the scar. And the way to get rid of a dog ear, or to minimize a dog ear, is to make that circular shape into an ellipse. If you just make a straight incision in the skin and stitch it up, then you won't get any dog ear because you haven't cut any skin out, so there's no bunching of the skin at the end of the scar that causes a pleat. So anytime you cut some skin out, you're going to get a dog ear to some degree. And the closer to a circle that the shape is, the bigger the dog ears. The more lazy or the longer the ellipse is, then the smaller the dog is, but obviously the longer the scar. And we're always trying to make scars as short as possible as plastic surgeons, and so there's always a balance between making the shortest scar we possibly can and the smallest dog ear we possibly can. And those two things go against each other. The shorter the scar, the bigger the dog ear. So we have to make a judgment. And often you'll find that, particularly if you're having a surgery like, for instance, a tummy tuck or a breast reduction where skin is being removed, that you get a small bunching of the skin at the end in terms of a small dog ear, which then usually settles as the swelling goes down and the scarring settles, but sometimes it doesn't. And if it doesn't settle, then you might need to have this revised. So this is something we talk about to people preoperatively, that there's a risk you might get a little dog ear at the end of your scar, a little bump at the end of your scar, which then might need to be revised later on. And they're relatively simple to revise. You just basically cut the dog ear out, you make the scar slightly longer, but flatter, and normally people would prefer a slightly longer and flatter scar. But as I say, to start off with, we make the scar as short as possible. It's the same as you're taking a skin lesion off a mole. Most moles are usually round, but we don't take it off as a round shape. We make it into a little ellipse, a rugby ball shape, and sometimes you get little dog ears, but with a bit of massage in a few months, they usually settle down. So it's best to make the scar as short as we possibly can to start off with and hope that those dog ears settle. But if they don't settle, don't worry. They're relatively easy to revise. You can usually have it done under a local anaesthetic, and there's usually no cost associated with it. It's all done as part of the original procedure, and it's a revision of the original procedure, and it's something that we can do on a local anaesthetic, and we can usually do it here on a walk-in, walk-out basis during the clinic. So I hope that's explained it. As ever, if you've got any more questions, get in touch, because we would always love to hear from you.